Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. This is scenario 1.1, and Drelm is back at the Glass Pavilion. So he made it once through the whole campaign scenario location cycle, and he's back again on level 1. So looking at the hand, it's fine. Advancing the Blessings deck, the first thing we get is a Curse of Vulnerability. So for level 1, Curse of Vulnerability is in the Blessings deck. So the Drelm has to encounter that. And we're at the Glass Pavilion. We're at this location. At the start of your turn, examine the top card of your location deck. So we have to examine this card. Okay, we examined it. Now we will explore. It's the Djinn Favor Amulet, Constitution Fortitude 4, or Wisdom 7. Drelm has a D8 Wisdom or a D6 Constitution. So we'll go ahead and do a D6. Alright, and we rolled a 6, so Drelm does get this item. It goes into his hand, but as it is, Drelm will choose to discard it because he likes all the cards in his hand. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessing of the Ancients. Okay, and we get, well, we have to examine the card. So it's at the start of your turn, examine the top card. So when you examine this card, succeed at a Stealth 7 check, or summon and encounter the henchman Forgotten Pharaoh Cultists. Okay, so that's interesting. So what we're going to have to do here is Drelm has a Stealth check of he has a Stealth check of D4. So we are going to go ahead and use a Blessing of the Ancients, which we can recharge. So we'll go ahead and recharge that. Since that's in the deck, we get to roll 2d4 for this check. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Roll 2d4. Alright, so we rolled a 3 and a 1 is 4. We have a Blessing of Matt, so we could have made that a 5, but we needed a 7. So as it is, we are going to have to encounter the Forgotten Pharaoh Cultists. So let me see if I can find them in this giant stack of henchmen here off to the side. So Forgotten Pharaoh Cultists. I should have gotten a few of these before this scenario started. So let's see if we can find them in this giant stack, and there aren't any. So let's go look in the other giant stack for Forgotten Pharaoh Cultists. Okay. Once again, should have done this before the... okay, there they are. Forgotten Pharaoh Cultists. Found them. Okay, so we have to examine the Forgotten Pharaoh Cultists. The difficulty to defeat is increased by twice the scenario's adventure deck number. This is level 1, so it's a +2 modifier to defeat. Drelm has a Copish in his hand, so he'll be using that for his combat check. Strength and melee plus 1d8. Okay, and that's pretty much all he's got. We're going to keep it at that, see if it works. D10, D8, adding a total of +3 to this roll. Alright, so we get 9 and 6 is 15, plus 3 is 18. So we did defeat the, if defeated, you may immediately attempt to close this location. Well, we're not going to be doing that effect because we now have to battle the Lamia sisters. Okay, so looks like this Copish is still working out pretty good. We're going to go ahead and use it again. We also have a Holy Light spell in our hand. So this is going to be Divine Skill plus 2d6. So Divine Skill is d8. So, interesting. I think we're going to go ahead and try this, because Drelm's Divine Skill is d8 plus 3. So for the first check, we're going to go ahead and use the Holy Light spell. So d8 plus 2d6, adding 3 to the roll. I think we got a good chance of rolling a 14 there. Let's do it. Wow, what a terrible roll. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we needed a 14. We're going to go ahead and use we'll use a Feather of Matt just to recharge it to make that a +1. But as it is, we still fail by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We fail by 4, so we have to take 4 points of damage. So all damage dealt by the Lamia sisters is cold damage, and we can't reduce it because we have the Curse of Vulnerability. It says here that if you are dealt 2 or more Well, actually, it's only, yeah, cold damage. We can banish this card. Okay, so we can banish the curse. So there's a silver lining there. But as it is, we are going to have to take 4 points of damage. So our entire hand is discarded. And I'll roll to see if I recharge the Holy Light spell. It's a D8 plus 3. So I rolled a 10. I needed a Divine 8 check. So at least we recharged the Holy Light spell. Didn't really help us out. And the Lamia Sisters are shuffled back into the deck. Okay, wow, what a really tough adversary there. So I'm shuffling the location deck. Shuffling the cards, rolling to see which card is on top. It's the first card. Okay, so what we are going to do now is reset Drelm's hand. He has 5 cards. And we will advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Nephis. And we will explore. Well, we have to examine the top card. Okay, so we're examining the Lightning Storm, and now we will explore. It simply just goes, we display this barrier next to our location, and while displayed at the start of our turn, we have to roll a d4 to see if we take the electricity damage. Okay, so that goes off to the side there. Let's see. Drelm is going to go ahead and use a Blessing of Wadjet. So he's going to discard this card to examine the top card of our location deck. Then you may explore this location. And during this exploration, add 1 die on your check to acquire boons. So we're going to explore. Okay, so we explore. It says when you examine this card, you are dealt 1 poison damage. Then encounter this card. Okay, so Blessing of Wadjet is discarded. We have to take 1 point of poison damage. We have a Crocodile Skin Madu. Let's see. No, it does not help against poison damage. We have an Armored Coat. Let's see if that helps out with poison damage. Nope, that does not help out with poison damage either. Wow. So, as it is, we'll have to take a point of damage. We'll lose the Armored Coat. And we will take the Curse of Poisoning. That goes off to the side there. And now we have to deal with this Scarab Swarm. Difficulty to defeat is increased by twice the Scenario's adventure deck number. That will be a 2. So we need an 8. It's really annoying because we don't have the fire trait. So this Bane will be shuffled back into the deck after this fight. We have a Fighting Crook in our hand. It's going to be Strength and Melee plus 2d4. We'll just go ahead and use that. So 2d4, a d10, assembling our dice here. Let me find another d4. There it is. Alright, rolling that. So we rolled a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 plus 3, which was our melee modifier. So 16, easily defeated. Scarab Swarm, though, gets shuffled back into the deck. So I'm shuffling the location deck. And, excuse me, we're going to roll to see which card is on top. D10, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the 4th card is on top. Alright, so Drelm does have a Remove Curse spell in his hand. So wrapping up this turn, he will recharge it. And then he's going to banish the Curse of Poisoning, so he doesn't have to deal with that. Now we will reset Drelm's hand. He has a hand size of 5. Advancing the Blessings deck. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to deal with the Lightning Storm spell. So, or Lightning Storm barrier, I should say. Okay, so we rolled a 1. So we are dealt 1 point of electricity damage. So let's see, we don't have anything in our hand that will stop electricity damage. So we're going to go ahead and lose a Blessing of the Elements as damage. Lightning Storm goes off to the side. We're at the Glass Pavilion, so we need to examine this card. Okay, so there's no examine effect, and as it is, we are now going to explore. And we get the Corridor Dart Trap. So, fortunately, Drelm has this ability. On your check against a card that has the obstacle or trap trait, you may add your divine skill. So, here is the level 1 Drelm shining. So, as it is, we have a Dexterity Disable, Stealth Perception. Well, Drelm's Disable is Wisdom D8 plus 2. He can also use his Divine, which is Wisdom D8 plus 3. So it's the modifier is plus 2, and we have a 2d8 plus 5 modifier. Alright, so we rolled a 6 and an 8. 14 plus 5 is 19. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. We are able to defeat the corridor dart trap. Drelm has a cure spell in his hand. He's going to go ahead and use that. Rolling d4, we rolled a 3, so we get 4 cards in our discard pile. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we had 6 cards in our discard pile. So rolling to see which cards we don't get back. 1, and rolling another one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he gets the Wings of Horus, the Kopesh. He gets a few cards shuffled back into his deck, thanks to the cure spell. So shuffling Drelm's deck here. We're all set there. And now what we're doing is we're going to roll to see if we recharge the cure spell. D8 plus 3, we rolled an 8. Well, that's awesome, because we just needed a Divine 8 check. So that is successfully recharged. Now Drelm will go ahead and, he'll reset his hand. Okay, and now we're going to advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Pharasma. We have to deal with the Lightning Storm spell, or Lightning Storm Barrier. I keep calling it a spell. Okay, this time we rolled a 2, but we have in our hand the Dijin Favorite Amulet. So we can recharge this card to reduce all damage by 2, that's electricity. Then you may recharge a random card from your discard pile. Okay, pretty nifty there. Pretty happy about that. We only have 2 cards in our discard pile. 1, 2, 3 is the top one. So we are recharging the Armored Coat. Alright, now that we've dealt with the Lightning Storm, we are going to explore the location. So we explore, and now we can examine Blessing of the Elements. We'll go ahead and do a strength check, d10 plus 1. Alright, and we did roll a 10. So since we have acquired this blessing, we're going to use it right away, because we're tired of examining cards and dealing with the Lightning Bolt spell, Lightning Storm Barrier. Okay, and it's a remove curse spell. So Wisdom Divine 6 check to acquire. D8 plus 3. We rolled a 3 plus 3 is a 6. Alright, that goes into our hand. And let's see. I think we're going to go for it. We have a Blessing of the Elements in our hand. We're going to discard this card to explore our location. Hopefully it's going to be the Lamia Sisters. It's not. It's a Blessing of Pharasma. Okay, so Intelligence Arcane Divine 5. Drelm has a Divine of D8 plus 3. Okay, so we rolled a 3. So we do acquire this card. We're going to use it right away. We can discard this card to explore your location. That's what we want. We want to explore the location so that we don't have to deal with the Lightning Storm Barrier or the trigger effects. Alright, we were hoping to get the villain or the henchman, but as it is, we have the Sands of Time. So this is a really cool spell. Drelm would really like to acquire this. His chance for acquiring it is Divine 8. So Drelm has a Divine 8 plus 3. Alright, so we rolled a 6, 7, 8, 9. We do acquire this card. So we can display this card next to your location. While displayed, add 1 die to checks by characters at this location to defeat beings that have the construct or undead trait. So when this location is closed, so it's cool because it lasts the entire time that we're there. So Drelm's going to go ahead and cast that spell. And what he's going to do now is he's going to discard or remove curse spell that he has in his hand, and he's resetting his hand. Okay, and now we're going to start a new turn. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessing of the Ancients. We have to deal with the Lightning Storm spell. Rolling a d4. Wow, this time we roll 3. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's just getting higher and higher in intensity. But as it is, we're going to have to toss 3 cards. So we're going to go ahead and toss Crocodile Skin Madu, another remove curse, and the Blessing of the Ancients, leaving us with 2 weapons in our hand. And now we are going to explore. Okay, and we explored. So since we explore, since we examined, rather, we have to deal with this card, which is, we have to do that Stealth 7 check, or summon and encounter the henchman Forgotten Pharaoh Cultists. Well, Drelm, his stealth is a D4, so that's an auto fail. So, Forgotten Pharaoh cultists are back. This time they're back with a vengeance. +2 modifier to defeat. Alright, so Drelm has the Fighting Crook in his hand. He's going to use it. He can reveal this card to use your strength or melee plus 2d4. So interesting. We got some cool options with the Fighting Crook, but I think if we just keep the d10 plus 2d4, I think we're good. Because we have a +3 modifier on this check. So let's go ahead and roll the dice. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, more than enough. Awesome. Forgotten Pharaoh Cultist is banished, and now we can deal with the Lamia sisters. They're just doing cold damage. So they got some cool... okay, let's go ahead and do the fight. So this time, what Drelm's going to do is he's going to use an Explorer's Staff, but he's going to discard it. So strength and melee plus 2d6. Okay, so strength melee 2d6, adding 3 to this roll. Alright, so we roll 10, 11, 12, 13, and 3. So a 16 for the first check. We make this first check. Now we're going to use our Fighting Crook, and we're going to discard it. We can discard this card to add our Dexterity skill. Our Dexterity is just d6, but as it is, it's going to be d10, 2d4, and a d6. And we add 3 to the roll. And we need a 16. Alright, so let's do it. Alright, we rolled 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow. How about that? And he even discarded that. So, Drelm failed that check. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, how about that? Hard to believe. He had all those dice. +3 modifier. Wasn't enough. As it is, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We take 4 points of cold damage, but Drelm has no cards in his hand. So he really doesn't take any damage whatsoever. There's 3 cards left in the location deck. So we are rolling the d6 to see which card's on top. It's the first card. Okay, Drelm's going to reset his hand. Scarab Buckler, Wings of Horus, Blessing of Wadjet, Feather of Matt, Vomit Clansman, advancing the Blessings deck. Okay, it's a Blessing of Nethys. We have to deal with the Lightning Storm spell. Lightning Storm Barrier. So we have a 2. So 2 points of damage. Drelm doesn't have anything. Drelm can recharge the Scarab Buckler to reduce electricity damage by 3. So I guess we'll do that. Well, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to take 2 points of damage, and here's why. Because we want to use this effect. Bury this card to shuffle 1d4 plus 1 random cards from your discard pile into your deck. We need to do that because we need to get some of our weapons back if we have any chance. And we rolled a 4, so that's promising. So we get 4 cards from our discard pile back into our deck. I'm going to roll a d10 to see randomly where we're starting to get these cards back. 10th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we get those 2 and those 2. So, thanks to the Scarab Buckler, we got the Explorer's Staff back in our deck. Okay, so that's kind of promising. So, we did lose the Scarab Buckler. We took some damage. We took some lumps, but we're still around. Okay. And as it is now, we have to, unfortunately, we have to examine the top card. Okay. Well, unfortunately, it's this guy. We examined it. We're dealt 1 poison damage. We can't reduce the poison damage, so we're just stuck with that. And we're going to lose our Feather of Matt. So, he has a +2 modifier to defeat. We have, fortunately, the Vomit Clansman. This surly dwarf has been following us around for most of the campaign. So, recharge this card to add 1d6 to your check against a card that has a trigger trait. That would be very useful against the Lamia sisters. But as it is, we're just focused on surviving right now, because Drelm has nothing in his hand. Absolutely nothing. It's a d10 plus 3 check, though. And, oh yeah, I could have rolled that additional d6. So as it is, we handily defeat the Scarab Swarm, but he gets shuffled back into the deck. Okay, some really interesting, annoying problems here going on at the Glass Pavilion. We're going to see which card is on top. It's that card. Okay, resetting Drelm's hand. Okay, he's got some promising cards here. Wow. Okay, it's looking good. Wow. It's a good hand, but he's got the Curse of Poisoning. So got to roll D5, D6. I rolled a 6. I only have 5 cards in my hand. So I do recharge an Explorer's Staff, unfortunately. Okay, advancing the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Ra. We have to deal with the Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm Raging. D4. Whoa, finally we rolled a 4. The Lightning Storm is finally abated. Maybe that's a good portent. Or portend. Alright, so now, next thing is to examine the card. What could it be? Oh, boom, they're back. They're saying, do that stealth check. Otherwise, you're going to meet our buddies. Yeah, but you know, we're just going to auto-fail that check. Because we think we got this. We got to deal with these Forgotten Pharaoh cultists. +2 modifier. 10 combat. No problem. Got a Kopesh here. Kopesh coming at you. D10 plus a D8. You kidding me? Adding 3 to this roll. Look at that. 12 plus 3, 15. Forgotten Pharaoh cultists. Bring it on. Alright. Now on to this. Well, what to do? What to do? You know what? Even though it failed us, we're going to do the Holy Light with a Blessing of the Elements combo. That's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do, it's going to be 2d8 plus 2d6 on the first check. I think we got this. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 3. Whew! Right on the money. We did it. Man, it's hard to believe. Right on the money. Got that 14. Look at that. Alright, rolling to see if we recharge Holy Light really quick. And we don't. Gets discarded. Now for the second check, we're going to use the Kopesh. And we're going to discard the card to add 1 die to each. 1 to each die rolled. Okay, so the Kopesh. Discard, and it's just going to be the D8 and the D10. We're going to add 2, 4, plus the melee, which is +3. We're adding 7 to this roll. And we need a 16. Come on. So 10 and +7 is 16. Boom. Look at that. The Lamia sisters have been defeated. If defeated, you may draw a non-basic item from the box. Sweet. Let's do it. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lucky shuffles. Alright, we got the Burglar's Bracers. Nice. Anything else? If defeated, you may immediately attempt to close the location this henchman came from. Succeed at a Wisdom or Divine check with a difficulty 5 plus the scenario's adventure deck number. Okay, so Drelm has to, that's a +1 modifier. So Drelm, his Divine check is D8 plus 3. We need to roll a 6. This card's banished. Alright, 6 or higher. Alright, so we'll look at that. The Glass Pavilion is closed. Boom. Wow, what a really interesting scenario adventure there. So, thanks to all those extra explorations. Let's go ahead and do a quick deck check here. Gonna do some technical difficulties like I usually do. Alright. So, wow, very entertaining scenario. Hope you liked it. So, let's see what we got in Drelm's hand. The Curse of Poisoning is gone. We got spells there. We got the armor there. Alright, we got a lot of cool new loot to look at. Burglar's Bracers, the Jind Amulet here. You know, awesome stuff. Vomit Clansman, Armored Coat. So this is what Drelm's deck is looking like. As you can see, these are all the items he has. He acquired quite a few new cards, a new blessing, 2 new blessings actually. He's got all that cool armor options there. He's got some cool weapons. Wow, look at all of this. Look at that. Man, he's got a lot of stuff now. So, let's go ahead and what's the reward for this scenario? The reward for this scenario is the reward for this scenario is the Ghoul Market. So now Drelm can go to the ghoul market where he can get armors. But Drelm doesn't want to get armors. He wants to go ahead and visit his buddy, the Smiths of Wati, and he wants to try to get some really awesome new weapons. Alright. So, shuffling up the weapons. We're just going to roll a quick D20 here. Alright, rolling 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So Smiths of Wati is offering a Galvanic Chakram, a Shotel, or a Copis. Okay, so automatically I really think we're just going to go with this Shotel. Let me go ahead and zoom that in for you guys. Alright, Shotel, let's do a little more. Yeah, that's what it is. For your combat check, reveal this card to use your strength and melee skill plus 1d6. You may additionally discard this card to add 2 to each die you roll. Okay, I mean, really? I mean, that's not that great. This is a really cool one. I love this because if proficient with weapons, discard this card to ignore a non-villain's power that happens before you act. So that is actually, I think for that power alone, it's worth it. I mean, Drelm's dexterity is just a d6, but this is such a really cool buff. I'm really tempted to get that. I mean, what's the point of getting the Shotel when he already has a Copish, right? The Copish is strength melee plus 1d8. Okay, so this one when you discard it adds 1 to each die. This one when you discard it adds 2 to each die. So when I discard this, I roll again a plus with my current melee plus 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'd be getting a plus 7 for that. Alright, well I really don't know which one I'm going to get. If I'm going to keep the Shotel or trade the Smiths of Wati with the Galvanic Chakram. But as it is, Drelm has more than enough boons to trade. So I'll let you know at the start of the next adventure. Alright, well that was a really challenging adventure, a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I will have another scenario up shortly with the character Drelm.